Okay, everybody, good to see you all. And just one other thing, actually, Terry, on that New Year party, there is on our website. There's if you don't get it through Terry's mail or don't get a paper copy, there's a link on the upcoming event side of our website on the left-hand side of the screen, and you can download the Word document from there, fill it in, send it to me with a check, and get booked up for that. So we're going to look at the autumn sky. A few things to look at. First of all, we just had the Geminid meteor shower, and I didn't see too many myself, and I think some of us did see a good few though. Andy caught one on picture there. That's a good one from Andy. That was just a short break in the clouds on Saturday night. And I didn't get any break in the clouds on Saturday. I did get a little bit on Friday. And when I got there's my wee Geminid there, and you can see here the Hyades and the Pleiades, so you can see where that's come from. And there's a little smudge there. That's Messier 35. To locate where that is in the sky, it's actually quite near the radiant, that one. I did see a few others late on Sunday night, but no camera at that time. That was the early hours in the morning. Just happened to look out the window and saw a couple of bright Geminids. But then one I did get a picture that's sent to me, which is a friend of mine called Paul Martin, who lives out in Omer way, and he has a website that's worth a look at, actually, tyroneskies.com, and he has all sorts of fantastic stuff. What he's done here, he's got his Geminid, which is almost lost in the star trails there, but he's stacked up all these pictures using star trail software, and you have the whole set there. So that's quite impressive. That was the Geminids. But if anyone else has got any pictures I want to send to you, do send them to me. There's a link on our website to send stuff as well. Solar cycle 24 goes on, and the first thing you've noticed about this picture, Peter took this on Monday, and there are a lot of sunspots. There's really quite a few there. One major one, also another significant one that we'll look at in a moment. There's 2237 here, which isn't all that significant, but we'll look at what that is in just a second. But also this area, active region 2242, is looking very active at the minute. In fact, just earlier today, that let go with an M9 class flare, and it's pretty well positioned for us at the minute. So we'll have a look first of all at what Peter's put together here, this wonderful collection of same sunspot over a period of a couple of months, three solar rotations. This was active region 2192 that let go with lots of flares, but none of which actually carried any amount of matter towards the Earth with them, so we didn't get any great auroras out of that, despite it being the largest sunspot since 1990. But it came round again, a bit smaller this time, and it's come round a third time as 2237. It's very much diminished now, so we probably won't be seeing much more of that one. But it's good to have a sunspot that goes 3 times round. Very impressive. So thanks for that, Peter. This is today's flare, and that's just earlier today. That was an M9 class flare, not quite an X class on the sun there. So that's actually pretty well positioned for throwing something out at us. We don't know quite yet whether there is a coronal mass ejection coming with that one, but we wait in hope and look towards perhaps the weekend or so, and if it interacts with the atmosphere in the weekend, we could get some auroras. I don't think it's the trouble, weather permitting, of course. So that's sun. The sky action mostly is in the sort of southeast in the evenings at the minute, where all the sort of winter stuff is coming up nicely. I was looking at Orion the other evening. It's looking quite fantastic. I always have a little look at Orion. I look carefully at Orion. I go, has that one got brighter? Just the possibility that in my lifetime maybe Betelgeuse will become unstable and let go. It's probably one of the most likely stars in the visible to do so. Sirius is coming up nicely in the evenings now. Sirius and M41 beneath. That's quite an interesting little cluster to look at if you're looking in that direction. Looks great at pair of binoculars. Comes out quite well on a photo as well. Then of course we have all the higher up stuff, Auriga, Gemini, lots to look at in all of those areas. That is the winter sky, and it's good. So let's have a some other bits and pieces. Planets. Planets, I've got what seems an age without any planets apart from Jupiter. Planets are coming back into it. Mercury will be visible in January in the evenings. Likewise, Venus a little bit sooner. We'll get Venus in the next week or so. I'll show you where to be looking for that. And Mars is actually, hasn't gone very, very low, is coming up a little bit again, the way the angle of the ecliptic changes, that you can see Mars a bit better now. And Jupiter has gone into this rather strange bit of geometry called retrograde motion since the 9th of December. If you've been following Jupiter over the last few months or so, you'll realise that it's been moving gradually towards Regulus, having gone past SA44, the beehive. And that's actually, as of the 9th of December, it's stopped and is now going back the other way towards M44 again, moving away from Regulus. And that's a good sign, actually, because as a planet goes into retrograde motion, you know that it's getting towards its best visibility. It's coming up towards opposition. I think it's February sometime there. Jupiter is actually in opposition, so you should get very good views and that, and get some pictures. And likewise, Saturn is coming back into the fray. You can now see Saturn. I haven't seen it yet. Early in the morning, somewhere sort of to the left of Spica. If you find Spica, you know, find that, find the plough, follow the handle down to Arcturus, and carry on in a similar curve to Spica, bright blue star. And Saturn is away to the left as you look at it today in the morning from that. Just to illustrate, that's retrograde motion. I think that's actually Mars. I found that picture of it. I think that's actually Mars. But if you actually look at the constellations here, there's the Hyades. Here's the top of Orion, and Mars is moving the way through Gemini there. There's Castor and Pollux. And this is the direction of travel over several nights. And actually, it's probably a couple of months worth there at least. And it does this thing where it stops moving that way, moves around this way, and then gets to another point where it comes back and moves off there again. And that is a good sign. Okay, this was just looking for Venus. Here we are on the 23rd of December. And we have an opportunity here. This is immediately after sunset. So what I've done with this simulation is I've taken the atmospherics off it because it just looks blinding. But just after the sun has gone down, don't bother looking before the sun goes down because you'll possibly inadvertently look at the sun and damage your eyesight. Don't want to be doing that. But after the sun's gone down, on the 23rd, i.e. What is that? It's about next Tuesday, isn't it? You'll be able to see Venus just after sunset. We'll have a closer look at that there. And you'll have, just a bit higher than Venus, this very thin moon above that. So you are looking really quite a short time after sunset there for Venus and a thin moon on the 23rd. Obviously, as that progresses, Venus will move slowly higher, but the moon will be very quickly out of the way, about another 15 degrees every night. So that's that there. Terry mentioned ISS passes, and here's the full set. Actually, though, it does go to the 28th, but this shows you 10 days at a time. And I would say, of all those, that the pick of the best of them was at 18:25 this evening. So there we are, I missed that one. We wouldn't have seen it anyway. So, but there are some very good passes there. Anything that's into the -2 magnitudes is good. Anything that's sort of over about 40 degrees high. 51 there is probably as high as it ever gets from Belfast because it's the orbit actually always passes south of here. But this gives you the appearance time. This gives you the highest it will get, and quite a lot of the evening ones they fade out before they actually reach the far horizon. So, if I, for example, was to pick this one here on the 19th, that actually fades out shortly after it peaks, just there at 44 degrees. Above the south-southeast horizon. That means that it's actually gone into the Earth's shadow. So that's that there. If you have children, nieces, nephews, grandchildren even, this is the one to look out for here, 24th December, and you can tell them that's Santa on his sleigh going there for 20 past 5 on Christmas Eve evening. That's the ISS pass to see. The one other thing I want to talk about, we have a comet coming, and I'll send this from a friend in Australia, and I looked at it and I thought I couldn't even figure out where this is, because this is a star map set for a location 26 south, 152 east, which actually is approximately the Brisbane area of Queensland. So here's Orion. Here's Betelgeuse lower than Rigel, and look very much sort of over on its side. And actually you can see why. The Aborigines have a different mythology about constellations and stuff, and they see this as three men in a boat, which is you know, a variation on us seeing as Orion the Hunter. But over here is the latest comet to grace our skies, C2014 2014 Q2 Lovejoy, and it's currently some way, as you can see, below, from our standpoint, below Orion and below Sirius, but actually not very much. And it is coming our way. It is also about 6th or 7th magnitude, so it's not difficult to see with modest optical aid. It's not quite naked eye, but it is quite spectacular, and I do have a little bit more information here. That's the photograph that my friend Jeanette from Queensland, she took that. This is not a hard photograph to take when you look at it, because she's only got, she's got a 5-inch scope, 5-inch refractor, Canon SLR camera, 4 times 3 minutes at ISO 1600, so it's not, you know, fantastically long exposure. And actually, the grass is always greener on these occasions, but Jeanette only got four subs there because she had to quickly pack up and get inside because a thunderstorm suddenly appeared. So that's the you know, the weather of that part of the world. But from our point of view, just looking ahead a bit to the 7th of January, when of course we'll all be here watching John Flannery. We can go out afterwards, and that's when the comet makes its closest approach to the Sun, and the Earth, as you see, is very near to it at the time, so we should get a great view of it just a little bit further out from Earth orbit, and coming past in that direction. And just to give a slightly different view on that, where that will be in our sky, we should have no problem seeing that, because here's Orion, here's Taurus, so just to the right of Orion and down from Taurus the Bull, looking in that area there, and it should be about 6th magnitude, so we should have no problems getting that, and of course weather permitting, and so that will be probably the best. It will rise higher, but will probably become fainter as it does so. But, so that's the comet to look out for. That's all I have to say, apart from, yes, there is observing, hopefully weather permitting, at the weekend, and that's it. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Paul. If the weather was good on that, I just think we might bring in a few small telescopes and set them up.